Nope.
Hey guys, Soul with 3D Printed Zoe here. Today I'm going to show you how I weld my 3D prints together. And I think this is the best way, in my opinion, to weld 3D prints together. So just for some of you cosplay enthusiasts, I know some of you guys have small printers, and some of you guys have to like split your parts into multiple pieces. I get it. It's kind of a hassle, and I have to done it myself. I currently have 3D printers right now, but when I started, I had an Ender 3 Pro, and so with my Ender 3 Pro, I made one of my biggest helmets, and it's my original Batman helmet. I love it. Still have to put some LEDs in it, but as you see, this Mando helmet right here was actually printed in multiple parts. And how I was able to, how do you say, from trial and error, I've learned how to weld them together. See, like this one was glued, but on the inside, I welded it together for a more seamless, more like a sturdy connection. You know what I mean? And so, let's just bring a helmet here. So, this is a 3D print. You can find this file on Galactic Armory store, but this is a Phase 1 Clone Trooper. As you can see, it's one big piece. And how I did it was basically I plastic welded. And basically with plastic welding is you take, a hot, like a wood burner or a soldering iron, and you basically melt the two joining pieces of plastic together. So you're like, let's say we're going to take this front part and we're going to merge this back part. And so we're just going to make we're going to like melt the plastic in between and let it cool. And basically it hardens and becomes one new unit. And so what this does, it makes a stronger bond, in my opinion. And so how most people would tell you how to do it is go from the inside and like just get the seam lines on the inside and not do really outside, because you have to, it's more work in the process. But for me, I don't really do with detailed prints like that. So basically I wouldn't be like merging models together. Maybe if I was doing like a gun or like a sword, and had a lot of detail, I wouldn't do this method. But if you're doing like buckets like me and they don't really have that much detail points, this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. Like, just look at this. Look, this is the seam line. And with just like Bondo glazing spot putty, some filler primer, and some good old sanding, that thing would be, let's now go to, this is the Vanguard Mando. This is what I call it, the Vanguard Mando. And so basically, if you can see it for plot purpose demonstration, you see right here, this is that seam line. So this still has a lot of work to do. Though this was what I was already talking about. So I took an 80 grit sandpaper and some Bondo and filler primer and went over this, and look, it's already gone, the seam line. Amazing. So for this project, we are going to be needing respirators, goggles, and a wood burner or a soldering iron. And so why you need a goggles and a respirator for is when you are melting plastic, it produces like toxic fumes. You don't want to be breathing this stuff in. And so what I was trying to explain welding 3D prints is we go over here to my part of my heavy Mando. So there's a seam line right here. And so if I put a little pressure, the Bondo likes to crack, will like to start crack, and I'm doing seam lines right here. So this is a project that's been working on in a while, but all this has been welded together. And let's take a look at El Baco, the back, and I can show you more. So when you plastic weld, you basically melt the plastic and make beads like this and just going down. And this is what connects the print pretty well together. And so I would have to do this with a front to next time I make a chest piece and it doesn't come out right or it doesn't weld together properly, I'm just gonna like weld it together and like weld the front. And because I find out like you can hide the bead pretty well. You're just sanding it down. See, as you can tell, that was a pretty big seam line I had to fix. Big imperfection right here. This print didn't fail, but I was able to save it. And then now, look, it's just like you can barely see the seam anymore. That bead line no more. So basically how this would go is that we take our two pieces. I'm just gonna use this as an example, but I'm not gonna do it right now and just show you the bead technique that I do. So make sure that you got a good grip and a good location. And so basically what we're trying to do is connect it. And when we're connecting it is we're just gonna start making beads down this line right here. Just melt, 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 melt. And after a minute cooling down, this piece will basically become one unit. And just always remember when you use this, I gotta preface this. These fumes when you're burning these PLA is toxic. And you do not want to be inhaling this. This is not good for your lungs. Make sure you wear a respirator and goggles. You want to keep your eyes protected and your lungs protected. And I want you guys to be on the journey with me. So I just want to let you know that I'll be making more content about making this full suit of armor. And expect a video in the near time future of the full suit up.